I feel reborn today. Reborn. Replenished. Invigorated. Reborn. And the reason why I feel that way is because we're at a point where we are fundamentally disengaging from all of the noise that constitutes our reality. And we're beginning to cultivate and create our own platform of peace from which we live. And if you're not quite peaceful yet, don't worry, just try relaxing. As we continue to allow ourselves to soften into who we are, there's an amazing thing that begins to unfold. So I had the pleasure of having a quick lunch with somebody too, wonderful gentleman. And it happened to be an MD, and I said, well, I have no stress. He said, well, that's an amazing statement, but I was like, how is it that you have no stress? I said, well, what's the point? What's the point having stress? Like, what is there to hold on to? What is there to get worked up about? What does it change exactly? And so I ran through the highlights of like our conversations, you know, the Reader's Digest version that you have over lunch, which is basically, if everything's already happened, well, then you can't fail. If you can't fail, then you don't have to be afraid. So that's one point of eradication of fear, and every derivative, stress is just a derivative of fear. And then also, the other blessing is that, well, if life really is about you being you and living authentically, well, then that eradicates stress too. Life is only stressful if you have to be somebody other than yourself. And so that's the freedom in that, right? And so I just feel like we're kind of at this point where we're breaking free of the known and we're beginning to embody the unknown. Another reason why I feel reborn and rejuvenated and replenished is because I've moved from not knowing into this place of knowing and experiencing through knowing for all of you. And now I'm moving into not knowing again. And it's very liberating. There's a certain toll or a certain burden that you carry when you have to know on behalf of others who have yet to remember. It can actually be quite exhausting. But once you get to this place where you no longer need to hold on to this place of knowing, that you can just go back to this place of simplicity again within yourself, then it's wonderful. Because then everything's brand new. There's an amazing curiosity, there's an amazing place of possibility and potential that arises. And so clearly I've completed something. And I'm super grateful for the fact that I have, because the more I live this life thing, the more I realize that we go through these cyclical times, these cycles, these time cycles, and that on the turning of every time cycle, everything that's cyclical in nature, something new becomes available to us. And so everything will shift now. And here's why, because we're right on schedule. Because we're moving into a place where we're going to be able to access this infinite potential and possibility. But that isn't accessible through the known, right? Like when you think about it, it's not in the familiar. I think the reason why you're all shifting in the way that you are is because you've taken a radical departure from the familiar. And you're now in this place of the unknown. And I find that living from this place of the unknown is invigorating. It's invigorating. It's exciting, actually. You know, because the known, even knowing about the infinite nature of creation, has a certain level of predictability to it. Is this making sense? And so we're now even taking a departure from the more predictable expression and manifestation of whatever this is into something else entirely. And I just can't wait. Can't wait.